in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Cell phone video captures police repeatedly shooting a black man in the back at close range. CNN's Polo Sandoval is live in Kenosha with the breaking details. What happened?
Allison, these familiar scenes that we watch play out across the country now playing out here in Kenosha, Wisconsin, after a black man shot by a local police officer. That leading to tensions and also some protests overnight. And what remains are some smoldering garbage trucks that were used as roadblocks to guard some of the local county buildings here. Before we show you the video, that is important to point out, it is very difficult to watch. Want to tell you a little bit about what actually led to that key moment yesterday evening. According to Kenosha police, their officers were called to a domestic disturbance. It's still unclear, though, Allison, exactly who called police and, of course, why. And in the video, you will see a man that the governor has identified as Jacob Blake actually make his way to the driver's side of a vehicle with one of two officers, then open fire. And it's also important to point out that, according to local authorities, he's still in serious condition at this hour. It's important to point out also what we...
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. It's Monday, the 24th of August today. We're approaching the very last few days of August. If you're wondering why I started with that video, is to let you know that even after George Floyd, even after all of the marches, even after all of the talking, even after all of the police coming out and saying we're not like that, we are not that officer who did that to George, that this kind of a situation is still going on. So if anybody was in doubt that we still have to be out there, come rain, winter or snow, that's why I started with that video, guys. So welcome to the Full 100 today. We've got a pretty enlightening show as well as depressing one. I am fully depressed to see that video when I saw it last night. As of today, as of airing now, apparently he's not dead yet, but I expect him to die. I mean, he was shot multiple times in the back. It's unbelievable. Guys, let's get down to it. I mean, I'm stunned for words that officers can still behave that way with all the marching, with all the scrutiny. Imagine we weren't marching. Imagine there wasn't any scrutiny. Could you imagine how much more people how much more black men and women would be dead by now between George Floyd and this fella the other night? Guys, I want to go on to my second video now. That's just too depressing. But I've got another depressing story for you guys. Those of you who think the UK is okay, it's calm, we don't get like the video I've just shown you very often, we don't get that. That's fine. That's because our police have not got firearms. Give them firearms and you will get that, just like the United States of America. But I've got another expose for you guys. How many of you knew that Liverpool Council hosts Confederacy people, racist, alt-right Confederacy people who come all the way from America to Liverpool to mark some form of an anniversary, and the city council tolerates them, gives them a plaque, puts up a plaque for them, lets them put up the racist flag, which is now banned in America, in many places, NASCAR and all these places. They've now banned that. But here our little Liverpool welcomes them with open arms. How many of you knew that? I never. Even the councillor you're about to hear now, she only found out about it when the press called her. They keep it so secret because they know what they're doing. Take a look at my video.
Liverpool has a surprising link to U.S. slavery, and for years U.S.-based neo-Confederate groups have come to the English city to celebrate their controversial history. But as CNN's Salma Abdelaziz reports, a local historian wants the city to confront its past.
At the heart of this Liverpool cemetery lies a conflict.
I'm taking you to see the graves of two Confederate veterans.
Between historian Lawrence Westgaff and his local government.
Who's built up these graves?
In 2009, the Sons of Confederate Veterans came to Liverpool to a ceremony in order to see the rededication of Evan Stevens Bullock's grave, and that was paid for by the Liverpool City Council.
The local council denied this to CNN, but two former officials attended the ceremony.
Just because we're in England, I feel that that's not an excuse to be able to commemorate individuals who are involved in keeping other people in chains.
The Sons of Confederate Veterans is a US-based neo-Confederate group now fighting to preserve Confederate symbols in the US. Over the years, the group has made multiple visits to Liverpool, even thanking the city council for their support, and in 2015, installing this plaque.
Well, I find that one particularly egregious.
Jerry Wells's name is on the sign. He was a member based in Virginia and organized a week-long event in 2015.
To let Liverpool people know that there was a support in Liverpool at that time for the Confederacy.
Wells says he coordinated with local officials, but the council denied involvement. The group raised the Confederate flag during their visit.
In fact, we had a 60-foot second national flag flying.
Do you understand why some people might take offense to Confederate symbols?
No, they were not fighting to keep anybody enslaved.
Tracy Gore wants to put those views in the past. She heads Liverpool's new Race and Equality Task Force.
I'm quite sure that the city don't know the context and they don't understand the deep-rooted racism. Then I think it's born out of ignorance.
Appointed by Liverpool's mayor, Gore says it's time to change minds inside City Hall.
What was the first that you heard of neo-Confederate groups visiting Liverpool?
Last week when you telephoned me.
What was your reaction when I called you and said this?
One of shock. Yeah, absolute shock.
Guys, that is unbelievable, right? Right under our noses, and they don't want us to march. Unbelievable that in the middle of this, in the middle of the what so-called modern Britain, that we still tolerate people that come over to celebrate racism. And you tolerate that. This is a state branch. Yeah? This is a council. You're part of the state. Tolerating that. Unbelievable. Guys, my next video is this is funny. It really is. I mean, there are many of you guys that think Trump's the one, right? And it's unbelievable. How can you praise someone who all of his family members really are telling you, other than his kids who have monetary reasons to say what they say, those who don't have monetary reason, his niece, his sisters, his brother, they tell you like it is. Take a look at what Trump's older sister thinks.
This goddamn plea and the lie, oh my God, I'm fucking really, but you know, it's the change of stories, the lack of preparation, the lying, the holy.
Those recordings were first published by the Washington Post, and the reporter who broke the story appeared earlier on CNN to describe some of the exchanges. Listen.
Mary Trump heard that her brother, the president, had said on Fox News that maybe they'll have to put her, meaning Judge Marianne Trump Berry, she was a federal judge at the time, to the border because there are a lot of refugees coming into the United States. And at the time, as you recall, children were being separated from their parents and being put in these cramped quarters. And Marianne was gave a conversation with her niece, Mary, and she said, quote, "It's all about the base. All he wants to do is appeal to the base. He has no principles, none. And his base, I mean, my God, if you're a religious person, you would want to help people not do this."
Marianne Trump Berry also appears to be the source of the claim that the president had a friend take a standardized admission test to get into a good college.
I mean, I didn't get him in, but I know he didn't get into college. And he went to Fordham for 1 year, and then he got into University of Pennsylvania. I guess he had somebody to take the exams. No way. And so what do you think is that, visit exams? SATs or whatever. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That's what I believe. I even remember the name. Oh, man.
allegation absurd. Republican strategist and CNN political...
Welcome back, guys. Isn't that a treat to see Steve, his sister talking in those truthful terms? Or what we know, but just you guys that support him just want to be like, We all know what she's saying. We've seen him. That's how he's been for the last few years. So I just hope for the American people and for the rest of the world, really, because we're in this turmoil over masks, over QAnon, over vaccines, over Bill Gates, over all of these foggy titles and all these foggy stories and this fogged up world we're living in is from him, the White House, and their people. They're the ones who push it. And the sooner that guy goes off planet Earth, and probably he's going to go to prison after this anyway, because like I said, 28, 29 now, I'm coming up to a new story now, my last video of the day. This is now probably the 27th, 28th person who literally served between, you see, from Trump's campaign team to his team that got him, to the transitional team that got him ready for the presidency, to his actual government. If you take all the people who served with this guy, you got over 20 odd people, 25, 26, who have now been sentenced to prison or are on house arrest pending prison, including his personal lawyer. So this is a new addition, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is the founder of Breitbart. Breitbart is that channel that brought you the fake nurse with the witchcraft in the white thing, with the had Breitbart at the top. He's the man. A lot of people think this guy is cute. Anyway, this guy Q, Steve Bannon, is now in prison, or he's now been arrested for fraud, raising money to build a wall and then spending the money on himself and his mates. So for my last video, guys, take a look at number 26, 27, maybe 28 of Trump's government people who have now again been arrested. You know who's getting arrested next? Trump himself, once he steps down, once he loses power. So take a look at the last video.
Trump's former chief strategist Steve Bannon is among those charged with pocketing donations meant to pay for a private border wall. It's a saga that involves talk of $1 million boat and a man who sells Trump-themed energy drinks. CNN's Drew Drickman takes a look at how the scandal allegedly played out and what the president and his family may have known.
The president seemed to have amnesia over his once close relationship to Steve Bannon and the president's own support for the project called We Build the Wall.
I know nothing about the project other than I didn't like when I read about it.
That doesn't seem to line up with what others recall Trump saying about the project, like Chris Kobach, former Kansas Secretary of State and advisory board member of the We Build the Wall organization, who's repeatedly said not only did the president know about the project that raised $25 million in donations, but supported it.
I've spoken to the president about this project on 3 occasions now.
Trump expressed clear enthusiasm for it. He wants it known that he stands behind this, and he went further. He said, I want the media to know that this project has my blessing. He was really making a point that he was behind this.
A point echoed by the chief financial officer of We Build the Wall, Amanda Shea. She's married to one of the men indicted, and posted this photo of her and President Trump last summer, saying she talked with President Trump, who had a lot of questions about the wall we the people built through We Build the Wall. He was impressed, she said.
Private enterprise at its finest, doing it better, faster, cheaper than anything else.
Kofaj, Andrew Bottolato, Timothy Shea, and Steve Bannon, according to prosecutors, worked together to misappropriate hundreds of thousands of dollars of those funds for their own personal benefit. Payments allegedly went toward a boat, a luxury SUV, a golf cart, jewelry, cosmetic surgery. That boat is one Kofaj used in a Florida pro-Trump boat parade. When reports accused Kofaj of misspending funds last summer, he and Steve Bannon joked about it in a video from the Border Project site.
Welcome back. This is Stephen K. Bannon. We're off the coast of Saint-Tropez in southern France in the Mediterranean. We're on the $1 million yacht of Brian Kofaj. And Brian Kofaj, he took all that money from Build the Wall.
The joke not so funny now. According to the indictment, the co-defendants conspired to pay Kolfish a salary with donors' money by using a second nonprofit and hidden payments. Philanthropy expert Doug White says it's the type of alleged fraud that hurts all charities.
Unbelievable, right? I just can't wait for Trump's turn because he's next. I promise you, that guy, he's got so many cases brewing on him right now. He's amazing. Even down to you know, when the military pilots are refueling, he's making them stop over at his Scotland, the Scotland estate, golfing estate that he's got, feeding them 5-star food so that they can charge the government that money. These guys are guys who stop. They're like truck drivers, even though they fly planes, but they're like truck drivers. If you're a truck driver for a company, your company doesn't put you up in the Hilton. They don't. No. If you get stopped over, you're sleeping in your truck or you're sleeping in a little hotel, little £10 a night place. Yeah, they don't tell the truck driver to stay in. This guy has been milking that country like nothing. Yeah. Watch the ride when after November. This guy's going prison big time. He'll be the first president we ever see, yeah, in our lives go to prison in a Western country like the United States. Regarding the march, where they're already telling lies about the march, saying now we're asking for defunding of the police. No, we're not asking for defunding of the police. What we talk about is reallocation of funds. What that means is you reallocate funds from less policed areas. So if you got a police an area like Surrey, where there is half of the resources that, say, Brixton needs, we reallocate those funds not to help the police in Brixton, but to make the community of Brixton much better so that it needs less policing over time. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about defunding the police. So I hope you guys join us on the 30th of August, which is this coming Sunday. And we'll have a beautiful day. The weather looks great as well. So without further ado, guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.